All right, welcome back to the Elias Macko Show. We're going to talk about a story now and a topic now that I know is concerning many of you. I'm already getting text messages from listeners who are telling me they're concerned about what's happening with their children. Now, the biggest porn company in the world is owned and operated in Canada. Not many Canadians know this. Pornhub, like other big names in adult video production and streaming, are all owned by MindGeek. And now MindGeek has been acquired by the recently founded Ethical Capital Partners. That's quite an interesting name, right? Especially in that industry. Ethical Capital Partners. They say they're now striving to make the platform an ethics-first website with a social value that hosts and moderates sex-positive expression between consenting adults, okay? So let's find out more, as I know many of you are concerned. Let's go to Alexzandra Kekesi, who is head of community and brand at Pornhub. Alexandra, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Elias, it's great to be here.
So my first question is, what are you doing? When I say you, I mean the company. Mm-hmm. What is the company doing to stop 9-year-olds and 11-year-olds, 13-year-olds from seeing explicit content that changes their views on sex and sexuality forever? What are you doing to stop that from happening?
Well, the thing is with our platforms is that it's important to remember that these are platforms that are for adults, right? It's called adult entertainment for a reason. All of the websites under the ALO name are RTA compliant. So this means that with the proper parental controls actioned on devices that are entrusted to children, these websites will be automatically blocked from being viewed by kids.
Okay, so despite saying all that, I just have to talk to parents and they are accessing it. So are you saying, well, they may be accessing it, but our hands are clean, they ain't getting it from us? Because I would imagine kids are smart and they can get around a whole bunch of things.
Look, I mean, again, I'm going to reiterate, it's called adult content for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's intended for adults. So we are of the mind that there is a great solution that exists in device-based age verification. I think that's something that I would like to really make clear that here at Pornhub, we are actually very pro age verification with respect to ensuring that platforms that are intended for children, and I don't mean this to exclusively include pornographic sites, like this is also for any type of violent or mature content, with respect to things on other streaming sites like Netflix or video games. There are certain things I think that we can all agree are only intended for adult consumption. So when we talk about device-based age verification solutions, this means that we're getting ahead of the problem like many, many steps before. So when you have a device like an iPhone, you have to set up a profile, right? So that associates the profile with the person that is using the device. When you set it up from jump to ensure that to indicate rather that the device is one that belongs to a child, this blocks effectively not only just, adult websites and browsers, it also blocks things from apps that are not supposed to be downloaded by kids.
Okay. And Alexandra, I know you're in favor of that, and I think we know how those things work, and I know many parents have those mechanisms already in place. But there are other measures that we're seeing across the world, other jurisdictions. Many U.S. states, in Europe we're seeing it, where they've gone to say, you know what, you want to access these sites, prove you're 18, credit card verification, ID verification. Are you in favor of that?
So we're not actually. This is why you've seen in states like Virginia, like Utah, where laws like this have come into effect. And again, I want to make it very clear that this is not because we are against age verification. We're very in favor of age verification.
You're against age verification that works. If it doesn't work, you're okay with it. Like that's what it sounds like.
Quite the contrary. Okay. We've seen actually that these methods that a lot of these bills are asking for, where they're using these third-party solutions, they're actually very ineffective if the goal really, which is one that I do believe that we share with lawmakers, which is to, again, avoid children or block children from accessing adult sites. These methods are proven to actually not be effective. And we really do believe, and we've been advocating for verification to happen at the device level.
So, and Alexandra, by the way, you probably just you probably just sensed my snarkiness with that last question, right?
Okay.
I'm not, and I'm not trying to be mean. I know you got a job to do and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more frustration, okay? And here's why I have the frustration.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have children, okay? I have one's on the way, but I don't have children right now.
Congratulations.
But I have friends who have kids, and they tell me what their kids are seeing, and then every so often, there's a story that's in the news. Some of them are extremely high profile. And we won't get into the details, but there's high profile stories about 17 and 18-year-olds that have group sex, and it ends up with police investigating, that kind of thing, and everyone blames organizations. Oh, there's no oversight. It's hockey. In some instances, Hockey Canada, everyone has to resign over these things. Mm-hmm. And I'm over here saying, guys, what are you doing? The problem is, from 11 years old, they're going online and they're accessing the craziest, most insane sexualized content. And that's my worry, right? So I wonder if you have those same worries about what children are accessing.
I mean, absolutely, which is, again, why I'm going to repeat myself. Mm-hmm. We really do believe that there is a very viable and simple solution that exists, with device-level age verification. Same thing when it comes to people that are, just to go back to your previous point with respect to, content, underage content. That is also something that we very actively work and have implemented, really top-of-class policies and solutions to prevent from happening on our platform. Everyone that uploads or that wants to upload content to Pornhub has to be verified. That means they have to go through a third-party verification to ensure that the person that's trying to upload content to the site, in fact, matches who their ID says that they are. We have a very rigorous moderation policy that involves both human and technological moderation. So we really do care. And I think that that's something, that I'd like to leave with the audience with, is that we really, we are a very safe platform. We have excellent trust and safety standards, excellent trust and safety protocols. I would love for people to really take the time to learn about them a little bit more. There's something that I feel very passionate about informing people about. You said at the top of the segment, yes, we are a very sex-positive platform. We believe in freedom of expression, but we also take that very seriously as a responsibility with respect to safety. We do not allow for illegal content on our platforms. We do not allow for underage content on our platforms. It's extremely and strictly prohibited. And same goes with our viewership. It is a platform that is intended for consenting adults only.
Alexandra, in the places, whether it's U.S. states or European countries, let's stick with the West for now. I don't want to talk about what they do in dictatorships, but in the West, in jurisdictions where they have gone with the age verification, whether it's credit cards or show us ID, has business dropped in those jurisdictions for you?
So I can actually point to the state of Louisiana as a great example of this. And this, I think, will illustrate really nicely why we believe that these age verification laws, in the way that they're currently being written, are not effective. So Louisiana was the first state at the top of this year to enact an age verification law. We were compliant with the law. We put into effect on our website a couple, I think, of the there are these third-party digital wallet type things where you would put in an ID card or other mechanisms, like you mentioned, a credit card, et cetera, to verify your age. And we've seen in that state that our traffic, in fact, has dropped by 80%.
80? 80.
And yes, correct, 80. Yeah. And what this means, this is very alarming to us, not necessarily from a business perspective, but because what we're seeing is when these types of laws are enacted, very few, if any, sites are actually complying with the law. And a lot of sites, unfortunately, do not have the trust and safety measures that we have in place with respect to content vetting. So what this means, in fact, is that people are going instead to our website where we do have these measures in place and people can trust that the content is safe, that they're watching. They're going to websites where they don't have this kind of stuff in place, and it's much less safe. So
there's a great point, Alexandra. By the way, we got to wrap this up, but there's a point, right? So, and that's the argument, right? Because if your clicks tank, but then if everyone just goes now to websites out of Eastern Europe that are worse and have even worse content, are we in a better place? Alexandra, we got to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on the program.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Alexzandra Kekesi is head of community and brand at Pornhub.